stop now. Okay. Hello. This one tonight is for anyone who feels lost. I was born with that sort of beyond reason, psychologist, beyond willpower, fear of heights. Yeah. I could no more control that fear than I could will my hand to stay on a hot plate, red hot. I'm keenly aware that it held me back from many things in life. But it's just one of those things. It's part of who I am. Maybe more accurately, part of who I was. Until I turned 12. And my parents took my sister and I down to Cape Town to visit Gran and have a holiday. So in Cape Town, I don't know if you know, there's a big swimming pool there, public pool, at Sea Point called the Pavilion. It's an open air pool, Olympic-sized pool. And on the side, it has an Olympic diving pool with one of those Olympic diving boards. You know that thing. It's high. And I used to fiddle around there with my younger sister in the baby pool when I was 12. In the baby pool over there, and I'd look at the kids climbing up, diving off, water bomb after water bomb. Wah! 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 It looked awesome, and I was sitting there like those idiots making fools of themselves, fiddling around there with my sister. And then one day, I was kind of overcome in the moment. I thought, well, you know, give it a try. And I climbed up, and I got halfway up, which is already pretty high, and I froze. Behind there was this massive water bombs. Come on, man, move! I couldn't move. And eventually I was like, okay. And up they went. Such confusion and jumping, we stuck there. And eventually when there's a break in the traffic, I was like, no. And I calmly got myself back down. What the hell was I thinking? And then, a week later, my parents decided to go for another swim. Late afternoon. We arrived there about an hour before closing time. I think it was a Tuesday, actually, middle of the week. There was no one there. And I thought, you know, my parents went off to the big pool, sister went putting off over there, and I thought, you know, I could give this another bash, I suppose, without the pressure. So there I went. Steps, took that first step. Second step. I'm halfway up, it's cool, man, just breathe. It's cool, breathe. I got up there, I was like, whoa. When I got to the edge, let me tell you, I'm not going to give you a ripping up on one of those boards, but if it looks high from down there looking up, it looks like the Grand Canyon from space up there looking down. And my whole body was overwhelmed in that moment. You need to have patience like this. Overwhelmed. There wasn't a thought of me actually hurling myself forward into the void here. I was just... And I don't know how long I stood there. And eventually I could feel the jelly making its way up my legs. And my heart. And I suddenly had the realization, oh my God, you know, I could actually fall off this thing. And I snapped out. I was like, no, and I took a step back. Oh, no. I'm backing out. But in that moment, I I suddenly became aware of what was going around me for the first time. Open air pool, public, in Sea Point. And a whole crowd of people had amassed on the street there to check me out. This young man facing his life challenge. It's amazing how things can change in a moment. Because I climbed those stairs with that safety net of, I can always turn around and get the hell back down. It was as if my hand was on that hot plate and life had put a gun to my... What's the line in the movie? That's pride with you. I actually stood there. I actually tried to wait them out. Like eventually they dispersed. I'm like, it's cool. And if I ever met them down the road somewhere, I said, no, I eventually jumped. But I became keenly aware that the longer I stood, the more crowd there was. And I'm sure that there was somewhere in there people taking bets. There really was no turning back. And I don't know. I cannot describe what moment it was. I cannot describe the chemical process that went inside my head. But I somehow, eventually, nothing spectacular. Although from my perspective, I can tell you, it was one of those moments in life, so serene, so thoughtless, and in the moment. It's a bit like what the author, if you know her, Karen Armstrong, might call a rare sense of the divine. When I surfaced out for air, the crowd had erupted into applause. And I was washed in a wave of relief. I often look back at that day. Often. And I wonder about, being the hippie, the greenie that I am, I wonder about the lesson. What is it? And I've come to this conclusion. Whatever lesson there is, it does not lie in that moment of the divine. Nor does it lie in whatever the hell made me actually take that step. Or the moment when I realized, oh my God, there's people. It actually lies in the most innocuous moment of the events of that day. That first step on the ladder. Because in that moment, I set off a chain of events that led me to the divine, that led me to actually learning to deal with my fear. That led me to here today, to be with you and tell you this story. It might be a bit patronizing to say to those that are lost, those that are depressed, those that are confused or unfulfilled in this life, that hey, there is a little bit of truth in that old adage. That 1,000-mile journey really does take that first step. I can't tell you where that journey is going to lead. I could not have predicted. Could not have predicted. But life is beyond that first step. First step. It's my 10th speech. And in the dying seconds that I have, I'd like to say this. I took the first step in here once upon a time. I met all of you. Some of you. And it's been fantastic. And I want to say this. I want to say thank you to each and every one of you for this thing that we do every 2 weeks. It's a weird thing. It's been an awesome journey. Thank you very much, man. Ladies and gentlemen.